What's up guys, Michael from Halfway back with a brand new video. Today I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I know that this channel kind of turned into a gaming channel the last couple months just because that's the type of video that I've been wanting to make, but I want to talk about another one of my passions on this channel, and that is music. And this past Monday, Tyler the Creator released his technically 7th, but 8th studio album, CHROMAKOPIA. And because I didn't really have anything I wanted to upload this week gaming wise, I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to talk about one of my favorite artists for a little bit. So I'm sorry if you subscribe to this channel for gaming, this is gonna be a little bit different today, but yeah, let's talk about it. So like I said, on Monday, Tyler released CHROMAKOPIA. I gotta say also right off the bat, I love Tyler's rollouts. He does rollouts better than maybe any artist around right now. He announces something and then wastes no time. Within like 2 weeks, the album is out. And I just gotta say, where so many artists decide to announce an album and then not do anything with it for months, it's so nice to have one of my own personal favorite artists announce something and then immediately release it without wasting any time. And then another thing that was actually kind of cool about this, I just want to brag a little bit, flex a little bit. Tyler had a listening party for CHROMAKOPIA at the Intuit Dome on Sunday night. Tickets were only $5, and I was able to snag some tickets. And look at this seat, or look at my view of the of the event, bro. I am still shook by that. $5 to get an eye level view. He was like right there. That motherfucker could have spit on me. Like, he was so close. So this whole album rollout has just been a really satisfying experience for me, being able to just go listen to the album early, having the album just come out very fast. The snippets were great, and now that it's finally here, what do I think of it? I personally really do love it. Whenever I go to a new album from someone, I kind of look for just to see where they're at in their life at that point. It's why for a long time I really loved Kanye, because even though he was saying the most sporadic shit and just being very out of pocket, it was always really interesting for me to go to his album and just kind of see where his headspace is at. And that's how I feel with Tyler at this point. It's nice whenever he drops a new album because you just kind of get a look into his mind at this point in time. And CHROMAKOPIA, while I've seen a lot of people not really be super into it, I have been having a really great time with it. And again, I might be a little biased just because he is one of my favorite artists, but I just really like the themes that he displays on here, and I like the emotional vulnerability that he's expressing. You can definitely tell that this album was inspired by Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I think Tyler even talked about how much he loved that album in the past, so it makes sense. But there are just certain moments on here that really do remind me of that album, especially when he talks about how he had to go away for a while just to figure out who he is. Like, that's not like a unique thing that Mr. Morale did, but that just moments like that kind of remind me of that album. The best way I can describe it though is it kind of reminds me of like 808s and Heartbreaks also. It feels like this is his 808s and Heartbreak combined with the emotional vulnerability of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And what I mean by that 808s and Heartbreak comparison is, on that album, Kanye was talking about like, basically, now that he's reached the successes that he has, he kind of looks at his own life and realizes that he's still pretty far behind his friends who have like families and kids and things like that. Tyler's talking about the same things on this album. Like, he's finally reached the pinnacle of his success. He's finally gotten the accolades that he's wanted. He's the biggest out the city behind Kendrick Lamar, which is a great line. I love that. Show respect to the GOAT. But he still finds himself feeling unfulfilled and just being kind of like behind his friends in a way. And I really like the way he explores the themes of fatherhood throughout this whole album by talking about how he got a girl pregnant and then they got an abortion, talking about his dad and how his mom was the reason for his dad not actually being in his life, which I have to say, that was like an IRL plot twist. When I first heard the album, I was like, holy shit. Because I've been listening to Tyler for so long, he's obviously talked about his father not being in his life. So to get more insight onto his relationship with his absentee father, which is a very like, whoa, like, and just coming full circle to the end where Tyler is just talking about how just he doesn't really want kids, and even though his friends are doing that and his friends have these families and stuff, that's just not what he wants in his life right now. And I really love that. I just really like the way he analyzes fatherhood through his own experiences while talking about the way his father acted in his life. And then another thing that I keep seeing a lot of people saying is that this is the first time Tyler hasn't really evolved sonically on an album, which I can agree with, I guess. But I don't really view that as a negative. It's just, it seems like he's finally found his sound, found what works, and he, instead of continuing to evolve it and to do something really weird and different, he decided to go deeper on a lyrical level, which I really do appreciate. One of the things he said at the listening party towards the end was that this is the first time that he's talked about his own life. I think that's just like a really interesting way to look at it, because yeah, it doesn't really evolve his sound as much as previous albums have, but it definitely dives deeper into just kind of how he feels. And I really like that, especially when we have like pretty much 3 albums in a row that can be boiled down to essentially being love stories. It's kind of nice to get a look inside his head and just kind of be different lyrically, I guess. So some things also about the album that I just kind of want to touch on really quick. Some of my favorite songs on here, I just gotta give a quick shout out. Like Him is one of the most beautiful songs he's ever made, and again, that's probably because I like the theme of the album so much. But God, dude, that song has been on repeat. Like, his vocals just sound so good. At the listening party, I at first, because I'll be real, it was kind of hard to hear the vocals there. The bass and the sound was just kind of overwhelming, and it definitely made it harder to hear what he was saying. So when I went to go listen to the album the second time, I was like, this is my real first listen. But that song specifically, when I first heard it, I swear to God, I was like, is this The Weeknd singing right now? And I guess like on the album, you can definitely tell it's him. But in that stadium, I'm like, holy shit, his singing has gotten so much better throughout the years that I was like, dude, is this even him singing right now? Like Him is one of the best songs I think he's ever made. I love that song so much. Sticky goes way harder than I expected it to be. Like, holy shit. I'm not trying to be mean, and I don't really like putting down other people's art, but I'm not the biggest fan of Sexy Red. But this is the first time that I heard a Sexy Red song, and I was like, okay, no, that's fire. No, that's fire. I've seen a lot of people talking shit about the balloon beat, but you guys are just haters. I love that beat. I love that song so much, especially at the listening party, the way he had the lights and stuff. I keep bringing that up. I like the song Balloon a lot. I think it works really well. Noid, I think, is a great analysis on parasocial relationship with fans. I think Thought I Was Dead is, whew, shit, bro. That's the best straight up rap song on this album. Like, oh my God, dude. I know there's a version with Playboi Carti, and it sounds cool. I don't not like it, but I think Schoolboy Q fits on the song a lot better. And I don't care, but if Kendrick was going to feature on this album, it seems like that would have been the song for him to do it. And speaking of people featured on the album, one thing I just find so strange is the random Baby Keem ad-lib on the song Like Him. The song is so beautiful, and there's a point in it where it comes to like a pause for like a couple seconds, and he had to have edited it, because I don't remember hearing it when I first heard it. But during one of those pauses, there's a random Baby Key, and it fucking catches me so off guard. When I first heard it, it was on TikTok, and I thought someone just like made an edit of the song or something, and then I was like, no, this is actually on Spotify. I don't know if he added that after the fact or what, but it threw me off so fucking hard. And then kind of back to what I was saying, like, there are songs like Hey Jane and Darling, like Hey Jane just gets a special shout out right away. It gives me like Wilshire vibes of just like a very storytelling heavy track, and I think it works really well. And it's crazy to hear him kind of talking about just getting someone pregnant, and then just them both kind of figuring out their emotions and how they feel about it. I think it just works really well. And the last thing, I kind of talked about this throughout the video, but the one thing that's been kind of like annoying me the most about this album isn't the album itself. It's just been people's reaction to it. Like, I gotta touch on this really fast, because it's been bothering me. There's been 2 camps for this album, in my opinion. It's either been people saying this is the greatest album ever made, or it's been people saying, nah, this actually sucks. And it's just so frustrating. And then what's also kind of annoying are the people who are like, it's been my first listen. I listened through it one time, and I'm gonna give it like a 6 out of 10 on my first listen. It's like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why don't you just let an album marinate a little bit? Listen to it more than one time. There are some artists and some albums where I get it. You hear it first time, you realize, nah, this isn't it. I don't think this is gonna get better. I'm not into this. But with something like CHROMAKOPIA that so obviously has so much effort put into it, to just write it off on first listen and say, yeah, it's not his best, I'm gonna give it like a 6 out of 10. It's just like, It's the weirdest thing to me, bro. Like, the album's been out for 20 minutes. Just finish it. Go listen through it again. Like, and again, I get it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But for this album specifically, I saw so many people just saying that, like, talking about their first listen reaction, and just like, I don't know, it just really bothered me. I just feel like people want to hate something sometimes. Like, it just feels like, I don't know. And that's like a whole other topic that doesn't even really relate to CHROMAKOPIA, but it's just like, it's a really frustrating thing to see. Like, I don't know. I think the reaction to this album has been very weird, and I just kind of taken myself out of it, and yeah. So that being said, I really did enjoy CHROMAKOPIA a lot. I think it's gonna age a lot like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, where it's, I think, really good right now, but it's only gonna get better with time. And I feel like there are gonna be songs I come back to in the future, and I'm like, okay, no, this is actually pretty great. Do I like it as much as Igor? No, but I don't think I'll like anything as much as Igor. Igor is probably my favorite album of all time. Like if this is like a tier list, I'm doing like a Tyler the Creator tier list. I'd put like this, Call Me If You Get Lost, Flower Boy. Those are all A tier in my opinion. Like, those are A tier albums. I really do love this a lot, and I like how it continues the trend of Tyler just like growing, even though again sonically doesn't grow as much on this, but as an artist I feel like he's continuing to grow, and he is just like the perfect example of an artist who has completely switched up and become a better artist than he was 10 years ago. And I love watching his evolution, and I can't wait to see what he does next. If this is like his 808s and Heartbreak, dude, his next album, that, I guess that's his Dark Fantasy. That's going to go dumb, bro. I'm very excited to see what he does next. But for the time being, I'm just going to keep blasting CHROMAKOPIA. It's been on repeat nonstop for me. And I really do love this album a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Again, I know I usually do gaming on this channel, and I'll go back to gaming, but I love music a lot. I think music is probably one of my biggest passions. So whenever I get the chance or opportunity to talk about an artist or an album that I love, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take that opportunity. And next week we'll be back to our normally scheduled gaming videos. And yeah, so thank you guys again, and I will see you next time.